The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storylines with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It's Tuesday, September 19th. We're here for Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman, and it is time to talk Dallas Cowboys football. We can do anything you want on a Tuesday. We can talk about the league. We can talk about the Cowboys facing the Cardinals coming up. We can go backwards to the Jets win. We can go back to the Giants win. I'm sorry, I'm still on that one. That's fine. The fact that the Giants and the Cardinals have played, maybe people watch that game, and I know it was playing about the same time as the Cowboys, but nowadays you can look at all that stuff online and see what the Cowboys might be facing this week. We can talk about injuries. We can talk about former players. If you want to throw Cowboys blast from the past, guys like that, it always triggers a story. So anything you want on Tuesday, we'll call in 888-855-2297. The text line is always open, 817-290-3298. Jerry Jones was on the radio this morning on 105.3 The Fan here in Dallas talking about a lot of things. He mentioned some injuries, and he feels really good about some of the guys having a chance to come back this week, including Tyler Smith. That would certainly help the Cowboys there at left guard. Looks like Zach Martin is going to be okay. He had an ankle injury. He'll be should be able to play in this game. So if that happens, then the Cowboys could be at full strength for the first time this year on the offensive line. Other injuries, Brandon Cooks, I think, has a chance to play in this game. Same with Donovan Wilson. So if you can get all your guys back for this game, facing a Cardinal team that's struggling, they're competitive. They've had chances to win and help out the Cowboys and the Eagles, I guess, in the NFC. But they've lost to Washington and lost to the Giants. Close games. Always weird things always happen there in Arizona when the Cowboys face them. So, all right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's start it off like we always started off, it seems like. Joe in Stamford. Joe, what is up?
Hey, morning, brothers. Good to talk to you.
You too.
Well, a couple things. One thing, after I listened yesterday, I forgot to mention this, and I thought, well, somebody will mention it. Man, our kicker is killing it.
Yeah, Brandon Aubrey. He sure is. He's been really good. What's your comfort level on that? From 1 to 100, what would be your meter of?
Well, let's say 79.
79. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he looks good. You know, he rushed that first kick, and then ever since then, it seems like he's been in rhythm. And then, honestly, like you said yesterday, that 55-yarder, I wasn't crazy about that. I was like, okay, let's just punt. You know.
Yeah.
That's sort of the way I felt about it.
Me too.
But then he nailed it, and I was like, well, okay.
I know.
You know.
I'm with you on that one. I definitely wouldn't have done that, and mainly because we haven't seen him make that kick before, at least not in the regular season. But now that he's made it, you feel a little bit better about it. But I'm still not crazy about that. At that time in the game and how the defense is playing, I would have been fine not doing that. But hey, everything McCarthy, all the buttons he pushed from the opening kickoff and all that just seemed to kind of work. So it's not always going to work. It's not always going to work, but I think you got to remember the times that it does, and so therefore, when criticism flies out and it flies around, at least you kind of can put it all in perspective.
Yeah, speaking of McCarthy, there's a specific play that was designed that he did in the third quarter that I haven't seen exactly that way.
Lipke?
It was like a swing screen.
Yep. Never seen that.
That thing was cool.
There was. I've never seen that either. You're talking about when Lipke's out in the flat, and then I think I threw it to, was it Pollard or was it Rico?
It was Dowdle. Dowdle. It was like a swing screen. Like
I've never seen that.
Pass lead. I've never seen. That was cool.
I know.
What a cool play.
I was the same way, and I was like you in the press box. I was like, I sit next to Todd Archer from ESPN and Derek Eagleton, and I was kind of like, did you see that? Did you see that? And everybody's in that third quarter working on tweets and all that stuff, and Derek charts every play, and I was just like, anyone else see that? So, Joe, thank you for seeing that. I know other people saw it, but I just thought it was so unique too. I'm with you. So, great call. Thanks, Joe. Brandon Aubrey, yeah, he's been outstanding. And I found something out. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna say it. It's not a big deal. It's been 2 weeks. So I was told Because the one thing that's kind of making people a little iffy on Aubrey, other than the fact that he's a rookie and he hasn't really done it, is, of course, he did have a really bad extra point kick in New York. I found out that he didn't kick a K ball on that play. It was supposed to be, you're supposed to kick. They have the K ball that they scuff them up for an hour and and get them nice and right to punt and kick and all that. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't do it. Because it was an interception or fumble return by Igbenogany, which that was a K ball, they just rushed out and threw another ball out there, and he kicked that wet, in the rain, regular football, hard as a rock. That's why it looks so bad. No excuses. You should be able to make it, but again, they wouldn't do it if they didn't. If it didn't matter. So I don't know if he gets a little bit of a pass for that, but when I found that out, I was like, oh. All right. Well, I feel a little bit better about that. All right. Kurt in Arkansas, the next caller.
Yeah. Hey, Nick.
What's
How
up,
you doing?
Kurt? Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's a little humid down here, but I'm good. I think everybody needs to relax about the red zone offense.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I agree. It's been 2 games. It's one game,
Right.
One game that it wasn't fine, and one game that it was. So I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
and I was wondering if you think Tyler Smith will be back this week.
I do think he'll be back. I think he has a really good chance to play. He was, he's been doubtful for two games, and then now, it should trend this way, especially with the hamstring. He's able to move around a little bit. I'd like to see on Wednesday. Well, I'd like to see him practice. Actually, that's what I would like to see. But if he's not practicing yet on Wednesday, I want to see him running with the cords behind, with the trainers. When he can do that, then he's close, and he might be doing it now. We just don't really see that. I would think he's probably trending in that direction. And everybody that's talked yesterday, Mike McCarthy, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they all have very optimistic thoughts about Tyler Smith playing. All right, let's go to a text question from Mike. He's in Boston. Said, any situation where you can see the Cowboys holding Tyler Smith out until the 49ers game just to be safe, or they get them in a game before to get some work? No, I don't think they hold him out for that. He needs to play. I mean, this is especially if an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen need to play. You don't hold anybody out for anything. I mean, you got to win the division. I mean, you've got to do the things you got to do. You got to beat these teams. Yesterday, the last caller called in and talked about the 49ers game. And I kind of, made a joke about him pole vaulting and skipping these 2 games and all that. I get it, though. And Mike from Boston's doing the same thing. I get it. This team knocked you out of the playoffs 2 years in a row. And we want to see how good this team is. And I don't think people feel like you're going to find out against Arizona unless they played poorly. Then that would, then they'd be like, well, maybe they're not that good. But you're not going to really find some things out about this team until you face someone that is good, and that's the 49ers coming up. So I understand. I probably went a little too hard on the guy yesterday. But, so it's easy to look forward. And fans don't have to be focused like the players do. Players need to be focused. But I'm just trying to point out that when a lot of people keep talking about a game that's looming, then everybody hears it, everyone sees it, and you can't blame the coaches and players if they're not thinking and focused on 100% on what they need to do too. So it kind of goes both ways. I don't think you hold anybody out until that game. Offensive linemen need to work together. All right, Curtis in Oklahoma. What's up, Curtis?
Hey, thanks for letting me call in. I appreciate it. Just
Thank
a
you.
few things that I wanted to comment on. The first one being I'm just so impressed with Mike McCarthy's play calling and personnel. One play I wanted to point out in particular, Deuce Vaughn was in, and he motioned to the right and then swung him back around to the left.
Right.
And Dak got the ball and shoulder shimmied to the screenplay, and it drew the defense up. And boom, he hit CeeDee Lamb for a 20-yard gain.
Right.
It just completely fooled him, and it was amazing. Good use of personnel. The second thing I wanted to say was, I'm not too worried about the red zone stuff. I mean, you got 15 points. The rookie got some great needed work. 2 touchdowns, that's only 14. So, I mean,
Right.
I'll take it, driving the ball to that part of the field. And then the last thing that I'll say is, man, there's a saying that they've been using. It's like a French saying, like carve omni. I know I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
Dak has said it a lot. And, man, just like there's no more Aaron Rodgers. There's no more Tom Brady. I kind of see it as like Patrick Mahomes. I'll give Jalen Hurts the nod. And then Dak Prescott in that elite quarterback level. And he just really has a chance to go seize the league right now. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. So
Okay.
I appreciate it. I'll hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
All right. Thank you for the call. Lot of love for McCarthy. I mean, and that's good. We talked about it a lot yesterday. His phrase for the season is carpe omnia. Didn't really butcher it that much. Carpe omnia. Seize everything. And that's what maybe he calls the game that way too. It's kind of interesting, though, when you think about it, because he's getting kind of, I wouldn't say criticized, but there's some skeptics out there about the way he's calling the game. Is he being too safe, too conservative down the road? Will it come back to bite you? Will he change? That's the big question. And you can look at that, what it sees everything. What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to go for everything and to go for all the points, get the most points you can possibly get? So then you be attack, and forget the field goals? Or do you say, I'm going to take exactly what they're giving me. I'm going to just take the points all the time, which is what he's done right now. I think guys know how to adapt within the game. There's a game in front of you, and you coach it. This week it's this way. Next week it'll be another. And so that's what I think he's doing right now, and I think he's doing a good job with that. I never really said this on the air before, but it's starting to get to that point. Like, and I get it. Lists are fun. We do a show. We do a story, rank them. We're at top 10 and all that. I don't really care about the quarterback rankings. I hear it every day. I hear it on the radio every day. You guys talk about it. And because it just at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. It doesn't mean where someone's opinion of where Dak is in relation to Kirk Cousins or anyone else. It doesn't matter. You got to win the game. I mean, back 10, 12 years ago, did it matter where Roethlisberger was ranked or where Eli was ranked? I mean, they won some Super Bowls. I mean, Romo was always kind of in that 6 to 10 range with the Rodgers and Matt Ryan and all those guys. I mean, but it just didn't matter. It didn't matter. Even if he was number one, it wouldn't have mattered because if you don't go and win. So it's a fun argument, I guess. It's one that never will end, and no one will really be right about it. And I think Dak is good enough to lead this team to where they want to go. I think he is good enough because you've got, like I said yesterday, you got to have something amazing. They have that. They have that with the defense. And so at that point, if you have something amazing, you've got to have a really good offense and a really good quarterback. And I think they have that. I think they have a really good offense and a really good quarterback. So I think he's good enough. All right. We got a lot of calls here we got to get to. Erwin in Denver. Erwin, what's up, bud?
Hey, good morning, Nick. How you doing?
I'm good. And you?
Good. Hey, I got a question for you. I was listening to Talking Cowboys this morning. They were talking a little bit about Michael Gallup and his lack of production. Isaiah Stanback was saying that he didn't think that he was quite back, and he didn't really know if he was ever going to be back. But my question to you is, if that's the case and the Cowboys know that, why aren't they developing or creating plays specifically for Gallup and kind of use them like San Francisco uses Deebo Samuels? And because he seems like a real big receiver, real physical. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Hold on. Are you saying, did I hear you correctly, use Michael Gallup like Deebo Samuel?
Yes, kind of like that. Use some plays like that, jet sweeps, just some power stuff that you see Deebo Samuel's kind of doing those kind of plays, and Michael Gallup seems like he's a real physical kind of receiver, and just seems like he would be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. I don't know if I see him that. First of all, I don't see another receiver really like Deebo. I just in the league. I don't. He's special because he's special. I mean, he could be running back. He could be receiver. He's a little bit of both. So I don't. There isn't a lot of players in the league like him. I know it's a copycat league, but you gotta like copy him, the player. I really don't see Michael Gallup that way. I see him a little bit more on the lean side as a receiver. I don't think he's as physical as he needs to be. There's been some times, I mean, there was an interception last year against the 49ers where, he kind of let the corner go underneath him and all that and fighting for the ball and all that. Now, he's great at contested catches, great on the sideline. I think this is a product of the offense. I don't think Dak cares who gets the ball. I don't think Dak has a fantasy football team either. I don't think he's trying to get the ball to somebody. CD was open a lot. CD's the best option that they have, and he was the guy. I thought on Sunday, I thought, Gallup, not really a decoy, but he just wasn't their best option. There will be games. Their teams are going to take away or try to take away CD. They're going to do that. It's going to happen. Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks will get opportunities to make plays. I wouldn't worry about it just yet. But I think he's a solid number 2, number 3, whatever you want to say. He'll get his opportunities. Right now, teams haven't proven that they're going to take away CD and make an effort to do that. Once that happens, you'll see Gallup get a lot more opportunities. I don't think this will be an issue just yet. All right, Kyle at McCord Air Force Base in Tacoma, Washington. Kyle, what's up?
How you doing, St. Nicholas?
What's up, bud?
Nothing much. I got a statement and a quick question for you.
Okay.
Micah Parsons is that dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've already noticed that or not, but we already know that Micah Parsons is that dude.
He's that guy.
So when we play San Fran, I'm looking ahead a little bit, but I just want to know, do you think that our O-line healthy with Tyron Smith, Tyler Smith, do you think that we could stand up if we went 5 wide? Because you're just talking about taking CD away, maybe Michael Gallup not there, say putting Deuce Vaughn out, or maybe having CD in the slot, something like that. Do you think that we could stand up against their D-line, our O-line, compared to their D-line? That's my question.
Yeah. You have another comment, or is that it? Are you done?
Oh, no, the other comment is I love the new show.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see what this season brings us, sir.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Kyle. Air Force Base in Tacoma, Washington, McCord Air Force Base. Appreciate that. Appreciate what you do. The 49ers, it's inevitable. It's happening. People are going to talk about it, and that's okay. I'm not going to be that guy. Getting into that matchup, it'll be different. It'll be a different game plan, obviously, for them. The way that they rush, the way that they have some elite pass rushers there, of course, Bosa, but also just how physical they are. So, I think it'll be one. But you just have to be balanced, though. You're gonna be committed to the run. You're always going to be committed to the run. What they like to do with the play action and the boots, you don't do that if you don't run the football. So I don't know if the game plan is going to be that different. They just have to have weapons. That's the key, is you have to throw as many weapons as you can. That's, to me, why they lost against the 49ers in the first in the playoff game last year. When Pollard went down, they just didn't have anyone other than CD. They took CD away. Imagine that. Teams decided to do that. He still had a good game, but they put a lot of focus on him. They got to have other guys. Brandon Cooks has to be that guy. Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn, they have to be that guy. The tight ends as well. So, when it gets there, that's what needs to happen. But I'll say this: a lot of people are saying their next test, their toughest test will be that game, and I don't agree. To me, the Cowboys have to show the consistency to be able to put teams away and beat these teams that they're supposed to beat. So the test for me is being 4-0 when you play the 49ers, making sure that you go to Arizona and you take care of business there. You beat the Patriots. They have a really, really great head coach. Say what you want about their talent now. It's going to be an emotional game as well. Zeke coming back and all that stuff. You got to be able to be focused. If this team is the team that they're supposed to beat, it's not going to be how they play the 49ers. It's are they 4-0 when they play the 49ers, and that's why they got to get through these games right now. All right, I can't even keep up with the calls here. Tom in the Bronx, New York. Tom, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Good. Question for you regarding Mozzie Smith and his potential impact on Osa, with his the production he's been having. And on that same note, has Trey Lance's arrival had an impact on Dak Prescott? I'll hang up and listen.
I don't know about that. Thank you for the call, Tom. I don't think an impact on Dak. I think he's playing well because this offense, I think, kind of fits his style a little bit, takes some pressure off of him as well. There's going to be games, though, he has to go win the game. It will happen. It just hasn't happened just yet. I don't know if Trey Lance being here has really affected any of that. That would be one for him. But he's not going to say that on camera. I don't think so. That's just my gut feeling. I think he's, if things like that bothered him, then he wouldn't be where he is right now because he gets more criticism than any quarterback other than Romo. But, I mean, that's just the nature of the position and the nature of this team. Dak gets criticized for everything. Dak can't go out and have a game like Josh Allen did against the Jets. He can't do that. And when he plays pretty well and has a really good stat line and his team, kicks the Jets' ass, that's not the lead story on it. It's not. Now, if he would have played, poorly and they lose, then you're looking at the quarterbacks in next year's draft class, and that's what people are going to do. That's just Dak can't win when it comes to that. I think now, I don't know if Trey Lance is affecting Dak, but I would say drafting Mozzie Smith, maybe that has lit a fire under Osa Odigizua. Something's working with him, and I do think playing next to Micah Parsons it helps. But I don't want to take anything away from what Osa is doing. He's been really good. The best thing for him is that he shows position flex. He's played some on the outside. He's able to move around. That's the thing when you have Micah. If Micah's going to go all over the place, that means the guys that play there also have to go all over the place. And he's done that. And Osa is one of those guys. He can slide him to the outside. He's made 2 sacks this year from the starting out the defensive end position. So really, really impressive the way he's played. And it's his 3rd year. The light bulbs kind of come on for him. And just another really good, strong defensive player that they can move around a little bit. So it's been really good. All right. We've got Ryan in Michigan.
Hey, Nick, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Real great. Hey, just a couple things here. Love the show.
Thank you.
2 shows I can't miss is Hanging with the Boys and now the Storyline.
Awesome.
But,
thank you.
So, you're welcome. My question is, we talk about McCarthy and his red zone offense there.
Mm-hmm.
We had the 2 touchdowns in the first half of that game. Is that correct?
Right.
And then we move into the third. He was obviously feeling comfortable enough where he was settling for the field goal. Is this maybe a case where he just didn't want to show his hand? He don't need his best red zone plays in this situation, feeling that the game might be in hand at that point. And I guess I'll hang up and listen to your thoughts on that.
I think so. I think that's part of it. I think the number one thing is, the Jets aren't gonna drive and do anything here. They're probably not. The only way that this is going to happen is if you have a turnover or something kind of crazy that flips the field and changes all the momentum and all that. Just don't give them anything. So you don't need to force. It's hard to throw down there anyways. So don't give them anything cheap. Just keep running the ball. If you pop something, that's great. If not, just keep getting field goals. And I think Dak on the play, Dak took a sack down there too, and they got out of it because of a couple of penalties. They got lucky on that one drive where he got a couple of penalties on roughing the passer, and there was also a pass interference. But he took a sack down there too that could have maybe affected them, a longer field goal than it needed to be and all that. So just be smart, and I think that's what he did. And also, I do think there's something to be said for. I'm not giving you all the tricks here, but they were up 33-0 against the Giants 2 weeks ago, and they ran a run, pitch to the outside for Turpin. So, that was one we really hadn't seen before. It's part of the game plan. So, they did that when they were up in the fourth quarter with a nice lead. So, I don't know if McCarthy would even think that was the case. All right, we'll go with David in Fort Worth. David, what's up?
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you, David?
Good, man. Hey, I couldn't call yesterday. I actually had to get some work done or whatever.
Had to get work? Work?
Yeah.
Work, schmirk.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is work. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I do appreciate you guys. I know that this time is 11 o'clock in the East Coast and 10 o'clock here and even 8 in the morning. It's hard to break away and call, so I do appreciate the guys that do call.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I'm gonna have a little bit of a more passionate call today, man, because I called Friday. I said that the score was going to be 31-10. I was pretty close, but I also mentioned that people were going to be freaking out about the offense, and I knew that because I know that the Jets' defense is good, man. I would say they're top 5, and I mean they're very talented. The thing about it is they got tired. They're going to get tired. I knew we were going to win. I honestly did. I just knew that they were going to get tired. That happened all last season. I want to shout out Dimitri in Rio Grande Valley who called yesterday and was mentioning Dak. Dak doesn't need to throw 500 yards. We don't need that. And I think, honestly, I know that you hate this analogy, and I really do hate it myself, but it may help other people. I think that what we're seeing in the divide of people saying that they're satisfied or not satisfied is the difference in perspective when it comes to playing to win versus playing not to lose. And I know, Nick, it's the same thing. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. It's just two different ways to achieve the same goal.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have aired it out. Maybe Dak could have thrown for 400 or 500 yards yesterday, but he also could have thrown a couple picks, and we could have played conservative, which we did, but that also could have came back and bite us in the butt. Luckily, it worked out in our favor. We got a dub. I suggest everybody to just kind of relax and just take it as it comes. And you made a point earlier in the show. I was kind of upset because I was trying to get through, but you made it before me. I agree with you. 4-0 is the test.
Yeah.
San Francisco is great. We want to get there. It's awesome. But 4-0 is the test because all the great teams, when you look across the league, you see, that team's going to steamroll the team.
Right.
One of the criticisms that the Cowboys have had last couple of seasons is, they play down to their competition.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we don't do that this year. Let's continue to blow teams out. Let's continue to do great. So appreciate you taking my call.
Good call.
Up. Yes, sir.
Good call, David. I appreciate that. I say good call because he's got the same points as me. But no, let's also point out that the Cowboys have been 12-5 2 years in a row. As I watched highlights of them beating the Bears last year. I mean, a game like that where you're supposed to win and you do, and you take care of business and all that. And so they haven't really been playing down to the level of their competition that much. I mean, 12-5 is a very respectable record 2 years in a row. Look at Philly last year, though. I mean, Philly, they had some close games, but they won a lot of them. They were stacking wins, and that's what you have to do. You can't slip up, especially when one of the best teams in your own division is in the league, which is Philly. I mean, 12-5, they went last year, but they didn't win the division because Philly didn't struggle in those games like that against a Jacksonville or whatever. So I think you're right, and also about the playing to win, playing not to lose. It is the same thing to me, and people will argue all day long about that. But when you run the football and you are conservative in the second half in the fourth quarter of that game, you are playing not to lose, because the only way you're going to lose is if you make a mistake. If you just play sound football, they are not going to score on you. So don't give them anything. That's playing not to lose, which is also playing to win. I never will understand that, but that's okay. Two things can mean the exact same thing. We're going to take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll come back and we'll answer some more phone calls and also text messages here on Cowboys Storyline. Be right back.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
Cowboys Storyline. Got a few more minutes to go here. We're going to go right to the phone lines. Chris in Mississippi. Chris, what's up?
How you doing there?
I'm good. You on the road? You traveling?
Yeah, I'm actually supposed to get loaded. I was going to tell you, you and Brad and Babe, y'all got to quit announcer jinxing us.
What'd they do?
Brad said something about, Dak hadn't thrown any incompletions. Very next throw, incompletion. And then you and Babe both said something about them not scoring on us in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And very next play, score. I'm just picking on you.
Oh, I get it. No, man, I know. I did it.
Man, amazing game, dude. I can't praise Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott anymore.
Wow.
And I just wish
Clip
the fans
that.
would.
I just want to save that because it's funny just how I appreciate it though. You're right. Keep going, but I'm just saying it's just pleasant to hear that because they don't always get the praise.
I've seen, I keep listening to these fans saying and announcers saying, they're not throwing the ball deep. They're not throwing the ball deep. Well, people don't get it is that you want a Monday morning quarterback, then you need to realize that they don't have to do that right now. So why would you put that on tape?
Mm-hmm.
Wait until you actually have to, because if they have to start taking the intermediate and the short throws away from us, then the deep's going to be open.
Yeah.
People don't use their brains when they're talking about that. And I promise people, if you're listening to me and you're a Cowboy fan, I've been watching Dak since he was in college.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you he can make the deep throws, and he can make them accurate. And he looks better this year than he ever has.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think he can.
I'm just ready. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that Chargers game because I can't wait for that vindication.
I got on all the fans yesterday and today now about the 49ers. We're skipping that. Now we're skipping the 49ers to the Chargers. Cool.
We're going to get to play the 49ers twice this year.
Okay.
I can't wait to put Kellen Moore in his place because you look at what he's doing out there. He's doing the same thing he was doing here, scoring big and then can't finish at the end. He didn't learn how to finish while he was here, evidently. So
he might be the head coach at some point later in that season.
You have a great day.
Yeah,
man.
you too. Good stuff. Deep ball or whatever. They'll get there. Michael Gallup's gonna be included in that too. Michael Gallup's gonna he's not forgotten. He's a good wide receiver. They will find ways to get him involved, but teams are going to have to prove that they can take away CD, and the Jets did not do that. I would imagine that there'll be different game plans against them now, though. Corey in New York is the next caller. Corey, 10th caller of the day. That's good. Corey, what's up?
What's up, Nick? Love the show so far.
Thank you.
So I got two questions. I'll keep it quick for you. The first one is, in years past, it seems like every time the offense gets stagnant, and then right before half, we go into the hurry up and we go right down the field.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that a little bit more. What do you think about doing that at least?
Yeah.
And also the other one is what's the player from probably the Dak Romo era that you thought was going to pan out a little bit better, and for whatever reason, his career was cut short?
What player?
I'll give you one. I'll give you one of mine. Hold on.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Patrick Watkins was a beast in Madden, and I just always thought this guy was going to be good. He was humongous. Thought he'd be a ball hawk, but it just never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for him, I mean, 6'5" safety, you know, and you're like, why weren't you a receiver, you know? But he, Pat Watkins, I mean, he's got some, you see like Israel Mukuamu, and I kind of think of him like that too, just the length that they have at that position. What was the first part of your question though? Now you got me thinking about other players, and I forgot the first part of your question.
Hurry up.
The hurry up. Yeah. Here's the thing about last year. Thanks for the call, Corey. The thing about last year, too, is some of those interceptions that Dak threw were right before the half, too, of those deep crosses over the middle with CD. For the most part, though, Dak has got it dialed up. They do well when they're going in tempo, and I would like to see that a little bit more. I think you're onto something there. Not all the time. It kind of depends on what the last drive was. If they get a 3-and-out on defense, relatively fresh, I could see maybe doing that, because if that's the case, that means that the defense they're facing was probably out not too long ago too, so you can maybe get them in a rhythm. But if your defense just gave up a touchdown or a long field goal, I don't know if you want to go hurry up, bang, 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 doesn't work, you have to punt, now you're putting them back out there again. So there's a little bit more to it than that. I mean, you kind of need to manage the game a little bit, but that's where having the head coach as your play caller, that's why he can help. Kellen Moore or whoever the offensive coordinator is, he's just over there dialing things up. He's thinking, let's do this, this, and this so we can move the ball. And I think it's a little different when it comes from the head coach. The player that comes to mind that just had it all in front of him and didn't do anything, I mean, I know I've said this before, but I mean, David Irving. David Irving could have been an all-pro. I think he could have been an all-pro player. He just didn't want to be. And that's kind of the sad part is he had the talent. He had the talent to come. I mean, I remember he got suspended for 4 games and he was coming back from suspension. I remember Tyrone Crawford, a guy that had to work really hard to be what he was. And I remember him getting interviewed and saying, you think David Irving can come step in and contribute right away after being gone for 4 weeks? And he goes, David could. David can. He's that kind of guy. All the talent in the world, just football wasn't number one. Maybe not even in the top 5. And that's too bad because he really, really was. He could have been a special player. All right, Bob in Rio Grande Valley is the next caller. Bob, what's up?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. You know, I was not disappointed when the Cowboys announced that they decided to release Rojo. I don't think it had anything to do with his ability. I just don't think that the guy's moral character fit in with our culture. And I think that the Cowboys right now, and I want your thoughts on this, I think they're guilty of making a mistake that they made back when we first got Tony Pollard and didn't play him as much as we needed to. I think we've got a guy on the roster right now that could be that second carry man and really do a great job at it, and that's Hunter Liskey. That I've watched some of his tape up there when he was at North Dakota, and I'm going to tell you what, that guy, he's more than a fullback. He's a halfback. He's a pass catcher. He's a blocker. He's got speed. He's elusive. I think you could line him up right now, and you'd be back to having Tony Pollard and a Zeke. I want to know what you think. I'll hang up and listen to your answers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there to call him Zeke just yet, and I don't think that's what you're saying either. You're just saying that 1-2 punch. He's intriguing, and he's so intriguing that you know he made the team on that third preseason game. He made the team just showing some things that he can do out of the backfield with the ball in his hands and as a blocker. And I think you're seeing it a little bit more each week. Last week, you know, the first game, he got some reps. Second game, now we're seeing some different plays as well. He's down there on the goal line. He's doing. They haven't got the ball in his hands, that much just yet. That might be coming as well. So I think he just continues to get work. Remember, he did it at North Dakota State. That's not the same level, but they have a great program. They have a great program. They get guys drafted. I believe Watson from Green Bay was there, too, along with the quarterback. So they put out some pros. He's working his way into there. I think he can be that guy. I really do. I think he can be that player. Going back to the caller before about players that didn't, that you thought were going to be a little bit better and just didn't work out. And I said David Irving. Another guy too that I thought was going to be a star and it just didn't work for him. It was Julius Jones. Julius Jones, his rookie year. You go back and watch highlights from that season. 2004, he came in the second half of the year. He was dynamic as a running back. He had 3 games of 150 yards or more in the final 8 games of the season. And I really thought his next year he's going to take over. But that's when the first time we really heard a lot about high ankle sprains. We just an ankle sprain before, but a high ankle sprain, and I think Parcells admitted it. He didn't really know the difference and understand the difference. He wanted him back out there, and I think he pushed him out a little too early. And Julius really wasn't the same after that. But man, Julius Jones and another one too, Felix Jones. Felix Jones was another guy that I thought would be a lot better, and when he was pretty dynamic when he was healthy. Again, another case where football wasn't always at the top of the list. All right, Allie in Florida is the next caller, probably the last caller. Allie in Florida.
Hi, Nick. Congratulations on your show. Love the show. And if I had one wish, I love to see Jerry Jones win Super Bowl before the time is out, because I don't trade him for any ownership. He's been working so hard. Then I want to give you another perspective. I went to a game on Sunday. I live in Florida. I flew at 4 o'clock in the morning, get into the game, went to airport Sunday night. I had to catch a 5 o'clock flight. But it was so nice to see in the terminal, everybody was sleeping on the chairs on the floor with all the Cowboy jersey all over the place. It was just so surreal that you see everybody tried to catch the next day. Yeah. But I thought it was a view that at least every Cowboy fan should see. It was awesome.
Yeah. That is cool, and when you win, obviously you have that passion, and here in Dallas, and that's where it should be, and it wouldn't have surprised me if you said there were a lot of Jets fans that are leaving or whatever, because Dallas is a place where a lot of fans from other teams are gonna go. They see it on the schedule. It's easy. It's right in the center of the United States. You can fly in, and it's a cool place to be. The weather's going to be good, And so it's always a place you're going to see a lot of the teams, but it's good when the Cowboys are winning. It's nice to see a lot of Dallas jerseys around, and rightfully so. And you guys are great fans. You guys have always been great fans. We've been doing this for 25 years, and we have one of the best numbers in the league as far as page views, as far as video views, articles, all that kind of stuff. And it's not because they've had a ton of success on the field. It's because you guys are loyal, dedicated fans that are just chomping at the bit to win a Super Bowl and get back there. And it's just like the last caller said, he wants to do it for Jerry Jones. He wants as much as you guys do, if not more. So we'll see if this year could be different. Certainly looks good so far, but we got a long ways to go. We don't have a long ways to go in this show. This is end of the show today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Chris Beam. I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!